Hello, Reagan here, and this is part 3 of what's going to be, I believe, 4 videos putting together this hut kit. These are the pieces that are actually the first step when you go. I never do these things in order. This is the first step, is to pop these pieces out of their little wood pieces that they're on. Wood sprues. I don't know what you call it when it's wood. I know plastic is sprues, but I don't know what you call it when it's wood. Anyway, and paint them with the supplied paint. And the supplied paint's a little, it's not the best quality paint. So it took me a couple of layers of paint to get these done. I just showed going through and painting everything once, giving a once over. But in the end, I ended up putting about 4 coats to get a nice, good coverage with this paint. Some of that's because it's just raw wood, so it just kind of soaks it up. But yeah, I like this color though. It's kind of cute. I kind of sped things up a little bit so that you don't sit here and completely drudge through watching me paint everything. But this kit's really fun. I got smart this time and actually used my tweezers and a paper towel instead of getting paint all over the place like I usually do. See, look at that. I have another kit that I'll be uploading video of after I get done with this one, after the next episode of this one. It's a coffee shop. It's also a 1/24 scale kit. And then either right before that or right after that, I'll start doing some of the stuff. I've been making some 1/12 scale items because there's a couple of different like dioramas and room boxes I want to make. But I'm having a really hard time like nailing it down as far as what I want to do, because I want to do a sewing room and a bedroom. I have that ridiculously huge dollhouse that I need to get started on. I also want to do like a movie theater, like concession stand area. And then there's like individual pieces I really want to make, like the old school cigarette machines, which have been turned into art machines where people put art in little boxes that are the shape of a cigarette pack. Anyway, but yeah, so all that's coming up this year. So this is the stove, and the stove is all on this piece of paper, which is awesome. It's like a laser cut piece of paper, and what I'm doing here is it gives you notations in the book of where to draw lines with a pencil, which is actually scoring the paper and giving you guides for gluing. So it works out really well. There's also 2 other grates on here, or one other grate on here that goes to one of the windows next to the front door. I thought this was really clever. It's put together really well and pretty easy to do. The only thing I don't like is when I was curling the pieces for the chimney, it seemed like it was kind of like not on the proper like grain of the paper. It was like cross grain or something, because it didn't roll very smoothly. Paper is kind of like fabric. Like there's, that one way it'll naturally roll and then the opposite way. And this kind of crinkled up and folded. It didn't want to like smoothly roll, which it's a little bit thicker paper, so that's kind of normal. But I think if it was going in the opposite direction, it probably would have happened a little bit easier. So I used a random assortment of things to try to find something about the right shape. And what I did find that worked the best was a mechanical pencil, like the screw kind, where it has like the lid, you like turn it to release the lead. It fit it pretty good. And then I also found that using my tweezers to pinch it closed when gluing really helped to make sure that the glue adhered properly. For the chimney, there's 3 sections, and then the top section has 3 little pieces that hold on the cap, and you cut all the pieces at corresponding 45-degree angles so that it goes up from the stove, out the side of the building, and up for the top of the chimney. So yeah, here I'm marking it to cut it. And my first go around, I cut it the wrong way and I had to go back in and fix it. But luckily there's enough of it to be a little bit forgiving if you screw that up. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, and these are the little support pieces that hold on the cap. I also went in and, because when I was gluing, I was making an absolute mess, and I did kind of get more glue on the outside of it than I wanted to. I went over that with a Sharpie, and it kind of gives it the metal, that kind of cooked look, you know, when you heat up metal and it gets the kind of like rainbow look or whatever. Sharpie gives it kind of a nice finish. I like the finish. So I did that on the chimney. I didn't do it on the whole stove though, just on the chimney, because it was the only thing that I really like doused with glue and had to kind of cover up my my little mistakes. So it's okay though. I really enjoy these kits because they're just the simplest little things that make the most amazing looking stuff. It's so fun. And this is the top. It's a little circle that kind of looks like a Pac-Man. And once again, there's a pencil mark on it that you make when you're marking with the pencil in the early step. And that gives you the proper amount of overhang to glue so that you get the nice little dome shape. And like I said, that goes on to the 3 little pieces that are glued to the inside of the top of the chimney. And that makes the cap. It's really cute. It's so cute. Yeah, like I said, there's 3 sections. So this is another section that I did of the chimney. And yet this pencil is the one I was talking about, is the perfect size to fit around, or for the chimney. The chimney piece exactly fits around it and glues to it. So that was after testing basically every pen, pencil, and marker in my house. This was the winner. So it worked out pretty well. I was able to glue it on, and because I didn't get any glue on the pencil itself, it slid right off. And like I said, there's the cuts, and there's the 3 pieces of the chimney. I would not suggest gluing this together until final assembly after you've already placed it, because it has to go through the wall. So it doesn't do any good. And this is the body of the stove. And see those pencil lines? That's the ones that you put on in the first place before you start tearing it out of the sheet. And they make perfect folds. There's like 1 or 2 spots that were kind of missing. Like the last little flap of the body of the stove doesn't come with the predetermined place to score it, but it's kind of obvious once you start getting, putting it together, or you need to score it so that you can glue it shut. I just can't believe a flat piece of paper turns into something so adorable so quickly. It's so cute. So once you've got the main body together, there's a top trim and a bottom trim, which basically gives it enough thickness for the top and bottom to get glued onto. And it's just the 2 long strips off of the piece of paper, and they just glue right around, because once again, they're scored already. So it's pretty easy. And there's a tiny little tab at the end that falls over to close it off. So then of course the top goes on. The bottom has legs, but it's like 4 pieces that get glued together. And once again, there's pre-scored score marks where you fold the corners and glue everything on top of each other. And glue it to the bottom plate. And the bottom plate gets glued onto the bottom of the stove. So I'm gonna put some music on and let you watch that part, or you can skip ahead and I'll be back with you soon. So now that the stove's complete, time to move on to some other things, such as the little like window that slots together really easily. I love this design. It's very cute and very simple because there's just little notches. So there's the two side pieces and then the shelves, and you just put it all together, and it's like little drop-ins, and it's really easy, glues in place really easy, and it looks amazing. There is a piece of plexiglass that goes on the inside of this for the window. So I put this piece together and left it to dry while I got to cutting out the window piece. To cut out the window piece, I went ahead and cut out all of the window pieces, and if you can look up in the upper left hand corner there, you'll see the back of the little window box. So the plexiglass goes on the inside of that, so it's on the back side of the shelves and the inside of it when you look at the back, the outside wall. What I did is there's a little diagram that tells you what parts need to be cut out in plexiglass. So it's not really plexi, it's really thin plastic, but whatever. Anyway, it's a thin plexi, I guess. What I did is I marked everything that I needed to cut with a dry erase marker. That way I could draw on it and not leave any residue behind. So I went a little big just on some of them so that I had a little bit of room, because I didn't want to sit there and completely line everything up perfectly. I was watching a show while I did this. I was just kind of winging my way through it. But it definitely helps to use the dry erase, because then I was able to just double check and make sure that I was close and that there was enough room for all the different things that I needed, and they were right. And I screwed up a few times, but like I said, I really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. I just want to make sure in the end that I had all the pieces I needed in the sizes that I needed. And once I got them all drawn on there, I just cut them all out and then wiped them all off with a wet cloth and had all my windows. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. In the past, I've cut out one at a time as I went through the kit, and then accidentally cut it the wrong way, because to like save materials, they give you like just exactly what you need or whatever, and a couple times I've screwed it up. So this makes me have to do it right, or right enough to actually work. So then here's all the pieces, and I just took all of those, cleaned them up, and went on to the next step. So after getting that glued in place, I was able to finish constructing the window and glue it in place in the back wall. onward to the windows for the basic wall of windows that there is. This is 3 pieces of the white wire, like the coated wire, that goes across this window, and there's also a handle that goes on it. And this window is the one that goes at the very top of the windowed wall. And yes, a piece of plexiglass goes in this one too. The handle is just a thick brown wire that's included in the kit, and you just curl the ends, smush them, and then bend it into the shape that's needed for the handle. And this is how the window wall goes together. You've got that orange one that goes across the top, and it fits just outside of the top. It's a little bit big for the opening, so it doesn't go in it, it goes on top of it. This one goes in the opening, and so does this one. This one also goes in. Oh no, does that one go on top? Yeah, that one goes on top as well. And then these 2 go in, and the yellow one goes next to that, and then the little blue one goes on top over that last little open spot. And then that all gets glued into place. And the front door has a cat door. I thought this was so adorable. So there's a little cutout piece of wood that sits in the opening, and it has a little door, a little label that says cat that you cut out of paper. And then you just leave that tab sticking up and glue that tab to the door frame so that it works as a hinge for your cat door. It's so cute. It's just adorable. The door is 2 layers. I don't think I shared that portion of assembling the door, but it just gets glued together. And then there's also a handle for the door that needs to be assembled as well, which is made out of the thick brown wire and then the white wire. You actually take the thick brown wire, cut a piece long enough to where it sticks into both of the holes on the front door, and then you take the white insulated wire and pull the insulation off on a piece long enough. There's a measurement included in the book, and once you pull the insulation off, you just start at one end and wrap it around the brown wire. And the brown wire is really soft, so needless to say, I bent the heck out of this thing. But the cool thing about it is it does bend back into place really easily, even with the other wire wrapped around it. So it's a teensy bit of a headache, but not the end of the world. I got through it. And that's the door. And then this is the door frame, which is 2 pieces that were also And I forgot to include in the beginning of this video, they have to be painted. They come out of the wood sprues. I don't know what those are called. Anyway, but they also get painted and get stacked on top of each other to create the doorway that the door sits in. Due to the style of this, with the door being double layered and the door frame basically being triple layered because you got the building and the two pieces that go on top of it, it is very easy to put a hinge in this door. On one of the kits that I made, I did, and one I didn't, but I didn't share that here. If you want more information on that, I can show you, or I can share some links to other people that have done it a bazillion times, but it's really easy because it's really easy to mount a little piece of wire or pin in the top and bottom of the door and then into the door frame so that you have a nice hinge. And then this is the little grate piece that was left over on the part with where the stove came from, and that goes in that little window next to the front door. And then of course there's the little address sticker that's also gets glued onto a piece of black paper, and that goes right here. And then that goes under the window, and then I'm getting ready to wrap it up. And there's one more thing I show on here is actually putting the little shelf under the window after I get this glued on. And then I will see you again next week. I apologize for the long break in between the last video and this one, but there was a Super Bowl and Valentine's Day and all the other stuff going on, so got a little sidetracked, but I'm back now. And yeah, there's the little shelf that goes into the window. Anyway, thank you, and see you next time. Bye.